a treat tonight. That's okay. Doesn't cut out the intro anyway. So, good night. Good evening. We're at our treat tonight, and I put on box with our messaging system, of course, that we have a little bonus material tonight. So we're really excited to introduce leaders, Mary Jane Matthews. And Amy say a few things, but before we start, I just want to remind you all that we're recording tonight. All the sessions are being recorded. So if we could keep that in mind, open your access now, turn your phones down, keep any questions or comments till the end, at the end or whatever, so that we can get a really good clean recording that will be superb. So,
I didn't put my phone on airplane mode.
You did?
I did.
Participants here in Minnesota,
do you want to go do that?
We are
No.
excited.
What if a call comes in or a text?
Our leaders speak, and we're super excited to be able to bring Rick and Mary Jane Matthew with insight and
Well, I think you should go put it on airplane mode.
for the country, for the business.
There's a prayer and pledge yet?
So please,
don't worry about it.
warmest of welcome for Rick and Mary Jane Matthews.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we are honored to be here, and we're glad that you all made it safely. And we're missing a few deer hunters. We know that because that is opening today. So we heard the shooting in our neighborhood like early on.
When you live in Minnesota, deer hunting is the holiday that is almost as big as Christmas.
Yes, that's true. Well, we are Rick and Mary Jane, and we live in central Minnesota, north central Minnesota. And I'd like Mary Jane to just share a little bit about our kind of a short story about us, so you know who we are, and start with that.
Well, I know that when I see something like this, an opportunity like this, I always like to know who are these people and like where were they when they saw this and what made them interested in an opportunity like this. So Rick and I were a young family. We had 3 boys who were 4, 6, and 10 at that time. We lived in our country property, and I was a teacher of children with special needs, so I worked full-time as a teacher. Rick worked full-time as a counselor, but he also had a lot of side gigs. So we had rental property. He started a car business that he operated out of the barn that's on our property. And I think when we saw this business, you had 11 cars, was it? Yeah. I mean, this was a one-man deal, remember? And it was a side gig. It wasn't the main gig. So he had 11 cars that he refurbished. He would buy them, refurbish them, and sell them. And then he also taught martial arts. He was a black belt in karate, so he taught martial arts a couple nights a week. And then he also did outpatient counseling through our local hospital for chemically dependent families. So what we hadn't counted on was being so time bankrupt. We were so busy with all those plates spinning. We just wanted to create a little bit of extra income so that we could do fun and wonderful things with our sons, like traveling and going to Disney World and going on ski trips and things like that. But each thing that we took on, it, ended up maybe not making as much money as we thought it would, or taking a lot more time, or costing a lot more. Because what we didn't have at that time was any kind of mentorship. We didn't have anyone just, helping us with like, well, if you do this, then how much time is that going to take? How much money can you really make? Is it worth taking all that time away from your family? We didn't have that. So we were kind of in a place where we weren't looking to do anything else, but we really needed something else. So I'm just excited to share with you what we saw when we saw this opportunity and how it benefited us.
All right, thank you. So this is called a briefing, and when you say brief, it's not going to be complete. If you're looking for full disclosure of information, profitability, and all those kinds of things, check with whoever invited you to take a look at this, take a look at the video, and then they'll be able to sit down with you and give you some real concrete information in that way. So I'm going to talk about profiting in the digital economy. And occasionally I run into people, even in our hometown. When I say our hometown, it's a huge town of almost 3,000 people. And we live 7 miles from the edge of the thriving metropolis. And we love it. It's not remote, but it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's quiet. It's peaceful. So this worked for us because it works for people who live anywhere. And that's one of the beauties of what we saw early on. But we have people, even in our town, that if you say profiting in the digital economy, they say, well, I'm doing that. And I said, what are you doing? Well, they say, well, I buy stuff at garage sales and yard sales, and then I turn around and I resell it on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm going, really? Okay, how does that work? And then they talk about, yeah, we buy this, and I get the orders, and then we package them up, and then we go to the post office, or the UPS drop off, and we drop those things off, and then we hope for a good rating. I said, do you always get a good rating? He said, no. So I'm going, this is nothing like that. Where when you get a picture of what we have and what we have in our hands, we don't have the accounts receivable. We don't have to handle shipping. We don't have to handle all those back end things that can just drive you crazy and consume a whole bunch of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So our profiting in the digital economy, listen closely if you thought it was what I just described, because it's nothing like that.
Okay, I love this slide because this is something I never thought about before we got involved in this business. So if you have not yet heard the TED Talk by Simon Sinek or read the book, It Starts With Why, I really encourage you to get a hold of either of those things. It was eye-opening to me to realize that really the why behind what we do is the very reason we do things. Most of the time, we're all thinking about the what and the how. Like, how does this work? What do we do? And those are important. But the most important thing is, why do we do it? And I know Rick has said oftentimes the why usually is the owner of the company. The how and the what are the managers and the people that work there. So this business, you can be the owner of your own business. And so what is your why would be the reason that would cause you to maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit and do some new things to create a business that works for you.
Right. These is called the cash flow quadrants, and it was put together by a person by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. And if you haven't read or heard of him, he's done a whole library of different books on finance and how to create that. When I looked at these cash flow quadrants and I'm going, the E and the S quadrant, he described those, and he talked about the limitations. And sometimes when I share the limitations, people want to throw things at me. I mean, doing a presentation, and I was just frustrated because I didn't know this. But if you look at the left side of what you're looking at on the screen here, the E and the S quadrant, that's where 90% of the people approximately are actually working. They're doing something, either they're self-employed, they have their own business, small business, big business, or they're an employee of somebody else and somebody writes their paycheck. Well, only 10% of the income comes from that side if you look at it globally. And I looked at that and I went, well, then why do people stay there? Well, they have something that they think is security. Well, seniority, most people have figured out, is not security, because companies buy and sell and change hands, and 401ks disappear and all those things. And we bump into those people all the time. Well, this is where we grew up as employees. We were taught in college to learn these skills so that you can get this particular job. And I worked as a school counselor. One of the issues was that a lot of the times by the time people get trained for a specific job, it's not there anymore, because the changes in technology that have taken over in the process. So what we saw, we were kind of trapped in the E and S. Our S quadrant was, when I taught martial arts, it was based on how many students I could teach, how many people I could attract to that, and how often I taught. With the car business, it was me. I was the engine that ran that. With anything that you do, you're the engine if you're on this left side. Typically, that's what happens. So what we figured out is that we needed to shift to the B quadrant when I understood it. And the B quadrant is on the other side, and that's where 90% of the income is created through business owners, and particularly through a business system. And we didn't understand that. I thought being a business owner, like my car business, now I'm a business owner. Well, sadly, I didn't have any mentorship. I didn't have anyone who was helping me with that. I didn't have a system. And then I became a threat to other people who were in that industry who I thought might help me. They didn't. Even the people who sold me cars. I built a kit cars, built a 1939 Jaguar, Porsche Speedster rolling chassis. I never finished it because I figured out the liability of those things. But what happens here is you can shift to the B quadrant without giving up your day job. And when we figured that out, that was money for us, because we needed to keep our day job to, the careers that we had in order to pay the bills, support our 3 kids, pay the house payment, all those kinds of things. But what happened is we were introduced to a system that helped us build basically an additional income, and with that additional income, we could buy back our time, which is very, very valuable. That's one of the most valuable assets that we have, because it's non-renewable. When it's gone, it's gone. So the investor, when I talk about the investor quadrant, because people sometimes say, well, you can put your money into investments, and we have money in investments. We've done that. We've lost big at different times because the market can crash without your permission. And you have no say, you have no knowledge of it. Of course, I started calling the guy who helped us invest, and he said, none of us saw it coming. So that's not a good bet. But in what we do, I talk about investing in people, because you want to get a raise in what we do. And this is give a sneak preview of what's to come, is that you invest in people and help them become successful. And the more you do that, the more people you can help become successful and get what they want, the more you get a little piece of that, not directly from them, but from our servicing corporation. So the 3 traditional businesses, traditional corps, cost too much money for most people to actually get going. And that could be millions of dollars up front, or $1 million anyway. Franchise, the same thing. And you're not duplicating, you're duplicating differently. You're duplicating with employees rather than business owners, and that's different. Mary Jane will explain that, I think, a little later. And then consumer direct e-commerce, that's what we're involved in. And when we say consumer direct, all the back end stuff is taken care of. So,
excuse me, Rick, but we cannot see the screen. You're blocking the screen.
Okay.
Oh,
There
you know what? It would be great. Maybe you want to just move back a couple rows, and
So
you'll
you
be
can
able to
see
see
better.
it much better.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right. So,
But I think I'll wait. We're beginning this.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so the U economy. There has never been a better time to have than now than to have a U economy. And if you have not heard the TED Talk from Mel Robbins on the U economy, I want to challenge you to listen to that. It's really eye-opening. So if you take these 3 economies, obviously we have the internet economy. That's a given. We all order on the internet and use the internet. Distribution economy. How many of you see those trucks driving by your house every day? Amazon, FedEx, UPS, other trucks. The distribution economy is out there. And then the network economy. You guys, the biggest network is in your cell phone. Rick and I were looked in there. I think actually our phones synced one time. So we did
when we got this iPad. It took both our phones and it synced everything. So she got 42,000 pictures.
Thank you very much.
From my phone. And I got her contacts. She got mine. We got over 2,400 contacts in our phones.
Between the 2 of us, I think we could. That's a lot of names to call, isn't it? Right? But anyway, so when you combine all those things, that sweet spot in the middle is the U economy, and there's never been a better time than right now. These are some of the giants: Walmart, eBay, Apple, AT&T, Costco, Amazon, Amway, Airbnb, Alibaba, Home Depot, Office Depot, Petco, and Wayfair. And there's many others out there as well.
Trending markets, I'm going to do this quickly. We just recently, like within a week or so, we used Uber.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have it in Malacca when you only have 3,000
What?
people.
We don't have Uber?
So I have to re-download it each time I need to use it because it goes away.
Yeah.
So, but we use it when we travel, and we used it last weekend, and it's a great option. What these things, all of these, we've used Airbnb, VRBO,
And HomeAway, we've used them all.
We did
Yep.
that. So any one of these just tells you that what happens is people are using something that they already have to create additional income. That's what it is, and that's when it's trending markets. So here's what it means to me is that people are looking for an option. They're looking for an option to create income. They're looking for an option that with something that they don't maybe necessarily have to, like with the ones over here, Airbnb and things like that, where they don't have to leave home. I mean, maybe they do have to leave their home if they're renting their home, or maybe they're living upstairs and they're renting downstairs. But what we have is way better than that. The bottom of this slide is the most significant, and that is the $1.5 trillion wellness market. And do you know, it goes beyond that though, because when I say it's going to increase, it has been increasing 5-10% annually or more. But the wellness, health, nutrition, fitness, appearance, sleep, and mindfulness. And one thing that's not on there that I want to tell you that is kind of one of the leads when I talk to people, I'll ask people, have you during the course of a day wanted more energy? And everybody, unless they're not telling the truth, they're going to say, yeah, right after I eat, usually after lunch and whatever. And I say, well, we have solutions for that. We have a solution. What if I could offer you something that would make a difference? And we have proprietary products like Rhodiola 110, and we have excess energy drinks in a myriad of different flavors that will do just that. So that's a door opener to actually put something that we have or show somebody how they can access it so they can have more energy during the course of the day. And it's so simple, but all the rest of those things, Mary Jane is going to talk more about how powerful those things are on one of the slides where she talks about the health, nutrition, some of those kinds of things.
What are the attributes of a 21st century business? Now think about this. If you were looking to own a business, what would you like to have be a part of that business? How about a low investment up front? Does that sound good? Yeah. Oh yeah. We have friends that have looked into franchises. Wow, it's a lot of money up front. And and they are, franchises have proven to be successful, but you're investing a lot and you have to have employees and all of that. Yeah. Well, this is just low investment right up front. How about time flexibility? Who is looking for time flexibility? Oh, absolutely. Doing this on your own time. How about direct order, direct pay, direct ship, and direct return? Amen. Not having to deal with any of that. Just like Rick was talking about people who are, looking to make money on the internet, but they're shipping. And then if people aren't happy, they're dealing with returns. And we don't have to do any of that. I mean, that is such a win. How about no accounts receivable? Wow. How about no accounts receivable? Everybody, when they order, they pay themselves. I know my cousin is a lawyer, and he said that at the end of the year, is it 1/3? 1/3 of what he bills out, he never gets paid. Wow. And Rick said, you're a lawyer. Can't you go after these people? And, they don't. They just know that they're not going to always get paid. I think you probably if you talk to David Humphrey, who's a physician, he probably did get paid sometimes. So that happens. But in this business, There's no accounts receivable, and you have no idea. I mean, how good that is that we don't have to deal with that. We are global in over 100 countries. And recently, our business has opened in some African countries, which is super exciting. Yeah. Yes, super exciting. There's no glass ceiling. In other words, most jobs, at least the ones that I've heard of, have a glass ceiling. You can only go so high. I know when we were teaching, there were increments, pay increments, but there was a point where you couldn't go any higher. But in this business, there's no glass ceiling. So there's nothing to stop you from building it bigger. It has intellectual property and patent protection, which is awesome. Minimal to no employees. And I think that is really exciting. Rick and I, everything is run from our phone. Everything's run from our phone.
We used to have an employee.
We used to, yes.
We used to have more than one.
We did.
Yeah.
back when we handled more of the product, but now everything is direct order, direct ship, so we don't handle the product, so we don't have any employees. We hire an accountant to make sure that all of that part is taken care of by someone who's more knowledgeable than us in that area. But other than that, it's just the two of us.
Yep.
And our phones, basically, that runs our business. Duplication with company owners. And I think that's really huge because a company owner is a lot different than an employee because
Oh, yeah.
you've got skin in the game when you are a company owner. And so we are working with people who are company owners of their own business, and a lot different than having employees. And then intellectually challenging and rewarding. And I can attest to that there's always, that I love that this business is challenging. There's new products to learn about, new ways of doing things. There's always something, some way that you can grow and be better. And I love that about this.
Yes. This is a slide that for me, it kind of summarizes just in a snapshot really what our business is about and how it works. Sometimes I'll just use this if I'm sitting down with somebody and I've kind of found out what it is that they're looking for, what it is that they want, what their why is, and they want to get into, okay, how does this work? This is the how slide. Okay, and when I say how slide, we build online bridges to consumers virtually. So it's not, people say, well, where's your business? Where's your office? And I show them my cell phone. Or iPad or computer if you use a laptop or something like that. That's where our business can be totally run from, managed, ordering, tracking, contacting people. We have a system for that. We have a voicemail system where we can do groups, and we can actually work specifically with the people that we're coaching and mentoring as well. And as we're coached and mentored, we can do that with a digital device. How different is that from having a store where you got to have a phone system, you got to have rent, electricity, you have to have insurance, you have to have all those things licensed and bonded in a lot of different businesses. So this, if you put a pencil to it and say, what are the positives and what are the negatives compared to other things I'm looking at, this will jump out at you. I used to do that as a counselor. People were trying to make a decision. I said, put plus on this side, negative on that side, and start looking at those things, list them out, and it'll tell you, it'll give you the answer. So with this, we profit in the digital economy when we connect consumers to suppliers. And the suppliers that we have are not just the ones over here, but they're different. And partner stores, we have less than this actual slide shows. That has shifted, that's made a change. I'll tell you the heart of our business, Mary Jane's going to cover in terms of what it is that are kind of the most used, most needed, and that's what corporate has figured that out, and they've brought those to market, and they're constantly improving those kinds of things. So we don't have to think about it at all. It's not part of what we do. One of the key things here is at the bottom is the mentoring and coaching. And we have an alliance of entrepreneurs, and you'll get more information from that, I think, in the next slide or so. That is really what we thought was the key to our success, is because now we have people who have an interest in helping us become successful, which was totally different than anything else that we'd ever done. When we were in the car business, I was in competition with other people who were making or selling, fixing up and selling cars. When we were in just different things that we did, we never had the mentorship. We never had anyone who was really interested in helping us be more successful than we currently were. So the Alliance of Entrepreneurs, Global Alliance, we network with other companies that do things similar to what we do with International Leadership Development, ILD Global. That's our company. But there are other companies that, like we did just recently with 4 or 5 other companies that actually came in, and we worked with them, sharing speakers from stage and sharing insights and knowledge and information and audios, different things that can help you be more successful.
I love this part, the A4 system. This is how we gained our success, really, was from the A4 system, which is Altacar, the parent company, of our servicing corporation. Amway Global is the supply chain and revenue distribution. Then you have Access Business Group, which is production, patents, research and development like none other. I can't believe all of that goes on, and the amount of patents and research development for the Amway business. It's amazing. Then up here you have the Alliance of Entrepreneurs, which is coaching, mentoring, and equipping us to be able to create income from this system. And you had a couple things you were going to add to this. Do you remember?
Well, I think right up here you can see you're in business that is your business, but it's your business, but you're not in business by yourself.
Yeah, for yourself, but not by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is yours, and it depends on your willingness to, to do the things that make it work. But you have guidance, and you've got people you can say, hey, what do you think about this? And I like the fact that we can talk to our mentors, and they'll say, I've tried that, and these are the results I've had. I'm not going to say you can't do that, because you can do anything you want to, but these are the results that I've had. So we get checks and balances without somebody saying, no, you can't do that. We don't have bosses, we have guides that will ask us key questions and help us do things that are most productive from their experience. But yeah, you're in the startup company when you become a new company owner. And
you have all that support around you. It's
yes.
Amazing.
It's leveraging, and that's the key word right there. And you see it. It's all to leverage, and that's the beauty of that. Each one of those has its own special thing that it does for us, so that we don't have to do it.
Health and well-being. So I'm actually going to read this because I don't want to miss any part of it. So for nearly 60 years, Amway, actually it's over 60 years now, Amway has researched, designed, and manufactured premium products that combine the best of nature and the best of science to make the world a better, healthier place. Here's a sampling of the growing family of Amway respected brands and science-based products. So you've got sport nutrition. And what is bigger right now than sport nutrition? I mean, everybody wanting to get in better shape and eat healthy. And we have top of the line, everything in that category. Then the nutritional supplements. Nutrilite is like the founder of the multivitamin. How many years ago? In the 1920s, 30s? Yeah. It's a long time ago.
About 80 years ago. Well,
like about 80 years. Yeah, the founder of the multivitamin. And everything we have is organic. We have the largest organic farming practices in North America. And all of our vitamins have checks all along the way. So what it says it is. And it's been tested all along the way. And they're so healthy, and they're easily absorbable in the body, and just on and on.
500 checks awesome. Just on a multivitamin.
On the double X.
Yeah. 500 from humidity to, all from the time that the carts come in. We've been at the farms, and when the carts came in, I looked, and there's a little digital recorder on that, and I asked the guy, well, what's that for? And he said, well, if things have been on that cart for more than, it was either 2 or 3 hours, it goes back out as mulch on the fields. And I'm going, really? He said, yeah, it's kind of like an orange juice. You squeeze an orange juice, just within a short period of time, the vitamin C is gone from that. So the value of that, you got to drink it quick. So anyway, with this, they monitor all that. It's absolutely amazing to be able to experience some of what we saw when we went to the Nutrilite farms.
And we've got perfect water. Did you know that? Perfect water. We have water that's been oxygen fortified, ionized. So it is super hydrating. That's basically what it is. It super hydrates you. Lots of good results people have had from drinking that water. Skincare and beauty. Artistry is a premium skincare brand, and we are actually number 4 in the world. The world in skincare among premium brands. I mean, it's amazing. Everything too is quality ingredients, botanicals, and just amazing. We have iCook technology. Now, Rick and I own the forerunner to the iCook, a very similar product. It was called Queen Cookware. Honestly, it's over 30 years old, and those pans look, we do use them, and they look new. They're amazing pans.
Lifetime guarantee.
Yeah, they're lifetime. Yes. If anything, in fact, I think, was it Paul and Mary that something, didn't the lid or something, or the knob, they just wanted to get a new knob, and they didn't have those particular knobs anymore, so they sent them a whole new pan.
Yes.
I mean, who does that? It's an amazing company. Water purification, the eSpring. So the eSpring is the #1 selling residential water treatment system. And the cool thing about the eSpring is it doesn't strip your water. It keeps the minerals in that your body needs, but it takes out contaminants that you don't want in your body.
99.99%.
Yeah,
of the things
it's amazing.
Yes.
And you have to replace the filter about once a year. It neatly sits under our sink, and we've got a separate spigot, and we drink the best water every day.
Yep.
All day. Yes. Air purification. The Atmosphere is the #1 selling home air purification in the world. Isn't that wild? #1 water, #1 air purification. I love our Atmosphere.
When it turns red, I hold my breath.
Yeah, right.
And a few seconds later, it turns green.
Yeah, so we have a fireplace. We've got fireplaces that you just click on, but we do have a fireplace that burns wood because I like wood fire. Anyway, so we start a fire in there, and the air treatment system goes woo, woo, woo.
It's not quite like that. We just see the red light.
Yeah, it's not quite that loud, but it turns red, and the fan goes up, and boy, it clears out that air
Really
fast,
quickly
and in a hurry. Yeah.
Yes.
Personal care, G&H, good and healthy. It's amazing. You know, we have lotions and body washes and soaps and everything good for your body. You know, what you put on your skin penetrates into your body. So you want to know that what you're putting on your skin is good and healthy. And we have that. And then home care. We actually have home care too. So
Yes.
I think Amway started with a basic home care product, liquid organic cleaner, which we still have. It's called a multi-purpose cleaner.
Yep.
And plus we have like the finest laundry, just amazing home care products. And again, nothing is harsh. Nothing is bad for, the environment of your home. So best of the best.
Yes, best of the best. Okay. Somebody keeps doing this. Okay, here we go.
Somebody who's got big hands.
Somebody. So this is just a snapshot, but we're just going to use one picture here. Most people that would be leaders in this industry can sit down with you and take you through 3 of these slides. And each one will take you to a different level, and it'll explain some of the things that are combined here. Like there's retail profit. There's also profit that comes from leadership bonuses eventually. There's also profit that comes through the system over here. I just want to let you know that this over here is magic. This is the magic in the business, and I didn't really quite get that. I want to tell just a quick story. And I had people invite me to come and see this business actually, years and years ago, and I never went. And here's why. Here's what went through my head. I said, well, I know they have toothpaste, and I know they have vitamins, and I know they have, some cleaners and stuff. And in my head, I went, wait a minute, we're professionals. We went to college for multiple years, master's degrees plus, and all that stuff. And I went, how much profit could I make on a tube of toothpaste that would ever replace my income? I could not fathom that. And because I couldn't fathom that, I wouldn't look. Yes. I just went, I was allergic. It's like I was allergic to it because that was my mental block. Well, once we got introduced to this with some people that we trusted, it was the people that really spoke to us. And that was Paul and Carol and Ken and Jenny, who are in this room, that we trusted. We liked them, and we went, okay, they're doing something different than whatever we imagined. And I still didn't get it right away. It took me listening to audios. It took me digging into things, deeper. It took me understanding this right here. And that is cumulative volume that occurs in your group, not just what you do. And when you help more people get what they want, and this is equitable for everyone. Everyone knows what the system is. We teach that, knows what the system is. And as a result of creating more volume, you create more income, and that's how you can help somebody. And I want to give an example too, is that one time we were looking at purchasing something and David Humphrey said, it was a car Mary Jane wanted. And
I did.
she didn't like the brown van we were driving. So she just said, so she, we looked at it and I called David and David said, well, do you have the money? And I said, we have some of it. And he said, well, he said, I can't tell you what to do, but why don't you put a pencil to it and figure out how many people you would have to help hit a particular level in the business? Like how many more people would you have to help to do 300 PV, 300 points in the business where they would be moving forward, where they would be getting 6% on their purchases. And then if they share with other people, that's going to continue to go up. Draw that out and figure out how long it will take you to create that income by those additional people so that you can pay cash. He said, that's just a thought, I'm not telling you what to do. A year later, we got her Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited.
With cash.
Yes, which is what she wanted. So anyway, that's within this. The first spot over here is what's showing step one, and that's when you get involved in the business, and over time you get to 300 points that you're doing in personal use and things that you're purchasing from your home, and you share with your other people. And as you do that within that business, that creates this right here. And $160 a month, some people say, well, that's not really that significant. Well, if you look at how much your insurance or your taxes went up in the last year, that's significant. But what would almost $2,000 a year do for you? It could be a cash Christmas.
Could be a vacation.
It could be vacation. It could be putting braces on your kids' teeth. It could be anything. And there are so many things that you could do with that money if you really sat down and thought about it and put a pencil to it. So that's small, but let's go to the next one. When you start sharing this with more people, now you share it with 6 people, and what happens with that? You 2100 PV, because you're bumping up the bonus schedule over here. Now it's $1,000 a month, almost $1,000
Yeah, and who
a month.
couldn't use that?
Who couldn't use? I mean,
right? An extra $1,000 a month.
yes.
Absolutely.
And then this right here is what we call the platinum level, and that would be a Q12 platinum. That means that you month after month after month, you're creating 7,500 points within your business, and that is about $4,800. Wouldn't be exactly. It depends on the structure of your business and all that. But that's not bad for a lot of people. That could replace an income. That could provide a lot of options if somebody wants to spend more time with their children rather than having to go to a babysitter. So just that one thing was a motivator for us.
Yes, for sure.
So that's if you want more information on that, I would just say get together with whoever invited you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously more levels to this business, which we're not going to go into tonight, but you can talk to whoever shared this business with you, and they can share what some of the, more levels that there are that you can build this business to.
You're better at that than I am.
I should do it. My hands aren't as big.
Okay, that's it. So these are the action steps, and we say action steps, and they can be M4. I mean,
it's a follow-up.
That's just a follow-up. Is essentially what it is. And one of the things that we do is we'll sit down with people after they've seen this and fill in the blanks.
Yes.
That's really what that is. And you can talk to whoever invited you to take a look at this, and they'll talk to you about how to do that. In the meantime, audios.
Yeah, these are amazing audios. Pathways to Ongoing Income, Women in Business by April Humphrey, Doorway to Mentorship by David Humphrey. For Rick and I, the audios really spoke to us. And when you're sharing this business with someone, they see this like we saw this, but the audios fill in the spaces. They fill in the blanks. They give you a bigger picture. So I want to encourage you to, when you have shared this with someone, to follow up with these audios. And MakeMailboxMoney.com is just several couples. Rick and I are on it. Ken and Ginny are on it. We just share, what we saw in the business. And it speaks, it's such a variety of people. It's a variety of age groups of people, of professions, of backgrounds, of where they live, that I think it just speaks to almost everyone.
Yes.
And then the book Prosumer Power 2, it shows, that book spoke to me because it's buying from yourself.
Right. You become
prosumer, not
just
a consumer. Right, right.
And We Are Amway is
That is
just a
amazing.
short video that really gives you a global picture of what's happening in the world of Amway and people's lives just visually.
Yes. And then document of income and expectations. Talk to the person who showed you to show you that information, and then also talk with them about upcoming things that are virtual events or live events that they could be plugging into.
Yeah. And
So
that's what we do when we talk to people. I'll take a calendar, I'll jot down dates of things that are coming up and invite people to that so they can get more information, fill in the blanks.
yeah, for
and
us,
then
we
meet
wanted
people.
to see it again and again and again, because every time we saw it, it made more sense. So, and we want to encourage, if you're looking at this for the first time, to for sure look again and again.
Yeah,
I'm
needed to see the rest
I'm just
of
going to
that.
leave that up. So I'm going to give this back to
Yeah, I
Kevin
needed to see
right
the
now.
previous one, though. I
Okay.
didn't finish that.
They can do
Will
that.
you be able to get it all?
All right, well, thank you, Rick and Mary Jane.
All right.
Are we going to handle her sitting in the front? That is terrible.
It's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Just keep writing things down and new ways of saying something. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, and it is